Hello, Karen O'Connor here. In my first video on this topic of retraining the tongue root, I shared an imagery that involved the tongue rolling forward atop a miniature exercise ball or conveyor belt in order to help get the tongue root forward so that it leans up against the front wall of the throat. This helps to keep it out of the way and frees up the resonating space inside the throat. I realized that imagery is not effective for everyone and doesn't resonate well with everyone, and that's why I do tend to use it very sparingly. However, the action itself is what's important. This action of leaning the tongue root up against the anterior wall of the pharynx is effective at correcting those resonance distortions related to the tongue root that's too far back and bunching up inside the throat space. However, there is another common problem with the tongue root that can also cause resonance distortions, and that is tongue root tension, which typically involves a narrowing. It can sound a little bit like this. Because we don't tend to have very accurate proprioception when it comes to our tongues, and because we can start to become so accustomed to the way that something feels after a while, we may not even notice or be aware when our tongue roots are tensing. In that case, we really need to listen for that characteristic, distinct, distorted quality. There may be some other signs of tongue root tension that you should watch out for or listen for. When the tongue root is tense, it may be falsely depressing the larynx. In fact, tongue root tension often comes about because the tongue root is being engaged to stabilize the larynx into a comfortably low posture, which can then lead to the larynx becoming inflexible and immobilized by that tongue root pressure. And then you may experience problems with intonation, pitch, and registration, for example. So, I have a little exercise that I found works fairly effectively for many singers with tense tongue roots. You're going to place your tongue tip over the lower lip in a very relaxed manner. Don't place the tongue tip too far forward so that it pulls on the hyoid bone and thus the larynx. The jaw needs to just kind of hang loosely but not slide forward, and the tongue body needs to remain fat and wide. Then you're going to bring the lower lip and the tongue along with it up to the upper lip and close off the mouth. As you do this, you're going to gently bite down on your tongue. Gently. This is going to help ensure that your tongue body and tongue root remain wide, and also that the tongue root remains forward against that front wall of the throat. Then you're going to vocalize in this posture. You can vocalize on scales, arpeggios, sirens, any kind of vocal phrase or entire song melodies. Just make sure that when you inhale, your throat opens nicely so that the larynx descends naturally and your tongue root won't be so tempted to engage. I'll record a video on the open throat really soon. So again, from this posture, or in this posture, you can vocalize on scales. Arpeggios. Sirens. And again, any vocal melody of your choosing. It should feel pretty free inside your throat. It may take a few tries with this though, especially if your tongue root narrowing and tension are significant and chronic. You're retraining the tongue root into new habits, and that will take some conscious effort and time and patience. As with any new physiological coordination, there's usually a bit of a learning curve involved. So once you feel as though you can successfully vocalize with the tongue root released, staying nice and wide and not pressing down on the larynx, while your mouth is in this closed position and your tongue tip slightly forward like this, then you can try transferring this coordination to your other vocal exercises and vocal phrases. If the tongue root tenses up and narrows again, just go back to that closed mouth exercise. Keep retraining the tongue root's muscle memory. Again, it may take some time, so be patient with yourself. Let me know how you do with this exercise. I welcome your comments and questions here on the SingWise Facebook page or in an email, and please, if you have not already done so, subscribe to this channel so that whenever I post free singing tips and lessons like this one, you'll know about it.